How much do I love my sorors? My soror already watched the video and text me. I love it. Anyway, okay. I am late to the party. I know, and I am sorry. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I'm gonna keep. I gotta figure out what else to review, and maybe people can put that in the comments. Like, if I rarely get comments, but I need to figure out what other shows to review because that I do watch, and maybe I'll think about which ones I watch that I want to actually start reviewing because I don't think I like Real Housewives of Atlanta this much to review um this in the future. But I am going to do Married to Medicine. I've always wanted to do Married to Medicine because I thought it was highly entertaining. And some of them I like a lot, and some of them I don't like. And there's always issues on there that I find relatable and willing to talk. But on the other hand, I think the one reason why I kind of like, I consider Real Housewives of Atlanta is because I really do like Candy. And I think that Candy is highly misunderstood in the sense that um, she's an extremely hard worker. And I can relate to people who like to do multiple things and multiple jobs and have their hands in everything as much as possible. So she's a relatable person for me. And brand building. She's producing The Wiz, and I will be there in the Pantages. I will absolutely have a group of folks, and we will be sitting front and center. The Wiz is my thing. My daughter is in love with The Wizard of Oz. And then I was like, in what world do I have a black child in which we watch The Wizard of Oz? We watch The Wiz. And so then I got her hooked on The Wiz, even though Diana Ross was a little too old to be playing that Dorothy part. But that's not neither here nor there. Point is, and if you do watch the background about The Wiz, you discover that The Wiz was enormously unsuccessful. It was way over budget. Uh, and it's the movie, no, it's a Netflix movie. It's a Netflix documentary, and I think I reviewed it. So that talks about black films, and they talked about The Wiz and how The Wiz was insanely over budget, and how Barry Gordy was funded it the rest of it himself. It did not do well at the box office, but it did well as a resurgence. And when it comes to people came to it late, and there's a lot of movies that are like that. Office Space is a good one. It's a cult classic. And so there's a lot of cult classics, and The Wiz became one of those iconic cult. But look, for me, some of the songs were huge. It was the costumes. Some of the costume things were kind of like off. And some of it didn't necessarily make all that sense, but I liked it. Anyway, the point is, we're not here for all that. We are here for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I am going to make the Housewives of Atlanta as quick as and painless as possible. Drew's crying outside with Sonya, and they're talking about this $1,000 lawsuit. She's explaining why this is not a joke. Sheree and Kenya are like, Sheree is struggling to figure out, how this is creating this much of an issue. And the fact that y'all went at Drew is the one who confronted her about not paying her bills last season. So what's the big deal this season? And that she's going to, anytime she sees anything in the blog, she's going to confront her about it, just like how Drew did it to her before. And so therefore, it's pretty much an eye for an eye. Part of me was like, well, I get it. We're on a reality show. But the other part of me is like, yeah, that's probably kind of mean, because if you really do think of these people as your friends, which you shouldn't, then why, then it would be kind of mean that every time you say something, they'll throw it in your face. I used to have a friend. Well, I don't used to. She's still a friend. And when we were younger, she would do this. She would um uh any any anytime we say something, uh anytime you would anytime we get into a fight, she would bring up really old stuff, and it would just make me feel so bad because I was like, man, I confided in her. I never thought that she would ever use that in a fight between us. And I mean, she would hit low blow, and so I would walk on eggshells sometimes when it comes to our friendship because I never wanted her to get to a space where we would get that angry with each other to where she would bring up old stuff. I, as a personal rule, as mad as I can get, as a personal rule, I would never bring up old stuff because I just feel like if there's ever a time that we may get back into good graces, your words are something you can't take back, and it's very difficult to take back something that you say to somebody out of anger that cuts them that deep. So unless I don't care about the friend, like there's a part of me that cares about you, so therefore I'm not gonna, go that deep. But I can say hurtful things without cutting you to your core. And because I still am hurt, I'm mad at you, and I want to maybe make you feel the way that I feel, maybe, but I'm not trying to cut you so deep that it may take us years to get over it. So I'm in a catch with Sheree. She clearly doesn't view you as a friend, Drew, which is what you should realize. She views you as a coworker. And this is what you do for somebody who's a coworker. Um, Kenya's like, can we just put money to the problem? Throw money at the problem. Can we divide? Can we divide the $1,000 by 8 people? Can we take a collection plate like we do in Avenue Q? That's not funny, but it is kind of funny. Anyway, and then she's like, we can't make it go away. Okay, okay. Candy's like, and scene. Now, see, I heard her say that last episode, and when Marlo was like, so where are you going? Are you going out there? She's like, no, I'm going to the bathroom. Marlo, they start chuckling. Now, I do think that Marlo had some great lines and some great moments, like especially when they went down to the fish place, to the market, and they're eating food. And she was like, so do you have any catfish? And they're like, well, catfish is such a dirty fish. And then in her little professional, she's eating catfish. Catfish is a dirty fish, but it's so good. So therefore, I've been seen. Okay, so Drew gets in the confessional and she's giving this long story about how she feels away by going out of town and how the last time it alluded to the how the last season the assistant she was suspicious about the assistant and thought that the assistant relationship was too close. So she didn't, I mean, essentially boils down to she doesn't trust him and she thinks that he's cheating. And so she's emotional all over the place. Um, we get all back inside and then they go and talk to, they bring up to Candy. Candy, you are doing this, and this. When are you going to be around us? You're hardly ever with us. And her argument is like, well, I'm still building. And they're like, well, when is enough enough? You know, let me pause you right there. It's fascinating how people who have accomplished less than you is going to tell you when you're doing too much work. Have you ever thought also that she is passionate and she likes what she's doing? And as a music artist, like many other careers, you have to go after things when things are hot. There's going to be a moment that express escape is not going to be as in demand as it is now. And she knows that. When her career, when they broke up, she had to pivot. She knows that career can be here and it can be there, and you have to pivot. And she doesn't want she wants to, when this moves, when they don't want her to tour as much, then then it's not going to phase her because other things will increase. She's already idea is like, look, it's not because she was on what show was she? Um, TGIF and on YouTube. And she uh the whatever. TGIF. And she was explaining like it's irrational for me to think that I'm gonna be on Real Housewives of Atlanta forever. There's gonna come to a point where this ends. And so you have to strike when all irons are hot as much as you can, because unlike these other people, Candy did not make a living because she married. She's not on the show because she married some man with some money. No shade, but it's fact. She didn't date a celebrity that then and divorced a celebrity that then landed her on a TV show, her name get out there that then landed her on a TV show. She has done this with her talent. And not many people on this cast has it. So I don't think that their response to her is appropriate by saying when's enough. I do think that she does need to have some me time, but I don't think that to say that she needs to do less is something that is reasonable, especially from there's only two other. Fine, we'll throw Drew in there. Three other women who is here based off of complete talent and not because of the person that they are married to or divorced. And they're not a friend of. Anywho, so I didn't like that at all. They were they were supposed to have this day plan. Kenya fell. Um, Candy went to the hospital with her. Was there for 7 hours. They're like, oh, she needs to jump the line. She needs to. Candy doesn't like to show her celebrity. I'm like, you at a hospital. So she's supposed to bump people who may have a heart attack, a stroke, or whatever, because she's a celebrity. Okay. So she can do what? Come and hang out with y'all at the fish market? I really, and then also, I think when it comes to Kenya falling, those shoes, she shouldn't have wore those shoes. And it was raining. Those shoes are slippery as all get out. And if you, and, and especially in the rain, and you're going to have to like, it look like borderline house shoes. You're going to have to walk slowly. And you should have, like, some shoes that have more gripping of, like sandals. Like I use my Birkenstock. Anyway, the combo between Marlo and Lanyetta about the whole Kenya dating and the DM thing I don't. Martell calls Sheree talking about how they haven't gone this long without sex. Think about him. So, Sheree, do you think he's saving himself? Do you think he's like? I guess this is not serious enough where he has to be faithful, right? Because he's not having he's having sex with multiple people, but you can't possibly think that he can go that long without sex. Now, I don't follow the chick, his baby mom, and I will not follow the baby mom. So I don't know what she's up to. Like I heard that they are posted together on Instagram. I would find that to be highly ridiculous and strange because he has he still has his options open, and he's the kind of dude who will pop up and marry somebody and still, while she's still thinking that it's a possibility that she's gonna be the wife. She should know better. She ain't gonna be the wife. Because if she was gonna be the wife, she'd be the wife by now. She'd be like, then why did I get married? But it ain't happening. I don't think he ever married her though. Anywho, why did I get married? So Drew was not necessarily upset that Candy didn't go after her. I do think that Marlo was right that if this wasn't Candy, then she probably would have had more anger towards her. I do think that I agree. The painting trip, they're trying to make it seem like because Candy and Kenya weren't there, that this was such a peaceful time. Sheree again is talking to Martell, telling him that they're having this pajama party. So the pajama party happens. Candy's going to be leaving. She only stayed 2 days in Portugal. That's such a long trip to go for 2 days. Anywho, but Drew confronts Candy by saying, and scene. And so Candy's like, I did say that I apologize because she did think that she was acting. I don't know that Drew's that good of an actress. I mean, she played a very good. I liked her in TLC. Is she that good of an actress? I don't know. I just think that she did have a bit of a breakdown because her husband is cheating on her and is blatant with the cheatation. And I think that it struck a chord. So they're trying to people all dancing and having fun. Marlo films this interaction between Drew and talking about the interaction where everybody's bringing back up what happened 2 years ago at the bachelorette party and saying that Drew is making out with Latoya or at least kiss. And Candy saw it, Marlo saw it. Marlo says 80-20. She's like, that she believes it, that she saw it. And they're like, well, why 80-20? It's like, well, because Drew's trying to convince me. I believe that they did kiss. And I don't see why it's this big of a deal. Well, I mean, I guess it is a big deal to cheat on your husband. But I think the whole thing was inappropriate, to be honest. And um she wasn't honest with him, if memory holds me. She wasn't honest with him about what the whole trip, what they did the entire time. And they drunk a lot. Look, I think I'm in the minority here in the sense that I don't like strippers. So I don't care how big your thing is, it's not going to entice me at all. So therefore, the whole stripper thing, I would have been like, this ain't my thing. And I've never gotten drunk enough where I'm touching and feeling on a woman. And they were all touchy and feely, and this was a whole thing. And I really don't think that we need to go back here and rehash. Oh my God, what is going on here? I am having like, yeah, what is happening? Anyway, I don't think that we need to go back and rehash this. It's a bit ridiculous that we're going back in time. Here we are again. But I think the going back in time is because Drew, there's rumors on the curb that Drew has been having a relationship with a woman. But I guess we'll see that next week, and I will speak to you soon. I'm sorry that this was longer than what it should have been. It should have been a short review because I ain't nothing much happened. Bye.